Hello and welcome to the Sub 1 YouTube channel. My name is Ray, and in this video, the Robo hat version 2 part 6, we're going to continue with adding the components to the board. So before we put any components on, one of the first things we need to do is add the solder paste. So we're only putting the solder paste on the pads that have components mounted on them. We're not putting them on the vise or the through-hole components sections. So I've got a heap of components that I need to put on, and they're all surface mount, just to make life interesting. So I'm going to pull them out and bring them over. I've got a lot of components like these 1K resistors, and I do have a circuit diagram, so we will try and add them all onto the circuit diagram. Once we've got them all placed in or put into the right places, we'll then look at applying heat using a hot plate. The solder paste I'm using is this stuff. It's 183 degrees C melt temperature. And it seems to work alright. It did the other board okay. And it's all completed, so let's start with this one. So there are quite a lot of components on this one, and I want to try and not use as much solder paste as I did on the previous board to try and prevent bridges in the solder. I think I got it all. I didn't want to do the jumpers, not at this stage anyway. Alright, let's start by adding some components down. For this I'll definitely need my tweezers. Alright, so I have got off to one side here the picture that shows all of the component layout, where they're supposed to be, and I have got my wiring diagram here as well, which has what components are where. So if we start over up here at R7 and 8, according to the wiring diagram, R7 and 8 will be with the level shifter, and they're 10K resistors. 5, 6 nearby there are also 10K resistors. So let's see if we can find out 10K resistors and start on those. So I've got lots of 10K resistors. They're all in these little packs. Okay, that's the first 3. So I'm just going to move down while I've got the 10k resistors out. So R36 and R35 are both 10k as well, so I'm going to do them while I've got them out. I think I've got way too much solder paste on there. So in around the MPU 6050. R9 is also a 10k. Now, moving on up the board, we've got these R31, 32, 33, 34 are all 10k around the ADS 1115s. Okay, moving on down. So R27, 28 and 29 are also 10k. I think that's all the 10k resistors for now. Oh, hang on, there's one R10. Around those. Where's R10? Right there. So put them away, and so the next set of resistors I'm going to try is the 1k. I don't think there's many of them on this board. So there's a 1k at R3. And R3 is around the EEPROM. And I think that's it on that board. Right, next one would be the 3.3, if I can find them. Or the 220s. Yeah, let's do the 220s. There's a heap of them. So R4 was originally spec'd as a 10k, but it's for an LED, and it turns out it should have been a 220. So let's get R4 in. They've got like a plastic tape over the components in these strips, and you've got to try and peel it back first and then pull the components out, and I accidentally tipped all those ones out as I moved it. So 220, and all the rest are going to be around the PCA 9685. So R11 through to R26 are all the same size. So I'm going to start at R19, work my way up, and then come back to the other side. Okay, so that's all those resistors on. Where else have I got them? That looks like all of them. So I'm going to just trim off my tape and then move on to the 3.9s if I can find them. So I need 2 of these, and they go at R2 and R1. Okay, that's those ones. Right, so we have a heap of capacitors to go on. These are all 2.2 nanofarad. And where do they go? C4. So C4 is around the MPU 6050. And that's that one at the bottom. I've got one strip, so I'm guessing I've got more than I need. I haven't found them anywhere else on the circuit diagram yet. I have no idea where that went. I can't find that used anywhere else. All the rest appear to be the 100 nanofarad on the wiring circuit diagram. 100 nanofarad. Now, there's a few of these ones in use, so I'm going to tip out a few. Start putting them in. So C2 and C3 are both 100 nanofarad. Problem with these capacitors is they're not marked. That's those. C6 and C7. I've got the orientation different on C7, so orientation's that way. While I'm up in that area, C1, so C5 here, like so, C8 and C9, both 100s. I accidentally dropped my tweezers on the board. I'll just check and make sure I haven't knocked too much out of place. Yeah, it'll look alright. C9, C8. That resistor could use a push back into the right spot. And over here on C10. I think that, I really upset it with my finger down here. Now for the semiconductor components, I'm going to start with this one. This one's a diode. It's actually a blue LED, just to show power. And I think from memory that's power from the 3.3 volt, which it gets from the Raspberry Pi. Right, so these do have a polarity. That's the next question I need to look at. Now, according to my diagram, the line the green end should be the way it is, like that. Right, that's for the LEDs. Now these are the transistors, and they go up here at Q1 and Q2. There's only 2 transistors on this. I think I've got way too much solder paste on this. Next time I order these boards, I'll order them with the solder mask. I thought I had this time round, but obviously not. So that's all of our smaller semis. Let's move on to the big ones. Alright, so the PCA 9685s that I've ordered have not yet arrived, which is a bit of a pain. So I've actually got one that I've rescued from another board. That's this one. And I'm going to place that in place here. That's a problem. My tweezers wouldn't open up far enough to release that. It looks right. Alright, so let's move on to the next ones. MPU 6050. This is going to be this bottom corner. Right, so the index is actually down in the bottom corner, and I'm having trouble finding the index mark. But this corner here appears to have, I thought it had a chamfer on it. Okay, so there is a chamfer on the pad in the center, down closest to this corner. So when I roll it over this way, that puts it on the top right hand side, so rotate it round 90 degrees, and that should be the right orientation. Okay, the PCF 8574. So that is over here, and that goes on this way. So that's that one done. Alright, so this one are all loose inside the packaging, and that's the MPR 121. So I'm going to have to be very careful as I pull these ones out. I only need one of these chips out at the moment. It goes on that little tiny U6 pad there. And I didn't have an actual drawing of that unit, but I think that the dot goes up in the top left. So let's see if we can find a dot on this unit. So looking at the underside, I can't see anything on the underside. Oh yeah, there's a dot right there. And that leaves me with the two ADS 1118 AT15s and the AT24-1C. So let's get these two in first. That's what they look like in their packaging. So this is the first one there. And that's where the second one goes. That looks pretty good. And these ones are a little bit bigger, so it makes it a bit easier. That's actually one of the easier ones to place. Well, that should be all of those components now mounted on the board. All the surface mount ones anyway. It all looks okay. Alright, next step will be switch back to the overhead camera, heat up the hot plate and let all that melt together. So I'll do that. Okay, so my hot plate here is hot at 220 degrees C. So let's carefully put this on and let it melt on. Alright, let's pull this off. And any corrections I need to do, I shall do. Now I'm going to have to do some fixes with the hot air gun. Looking at it, it's few components have moved around where they shouldn't have. And this isn't going to focus for me. But so I've got a few I've got to fix up. So I'll fix those up. I'll do them off camera because I'm not very good with the hot air gun and making it so you can see what I'm doing. And I'll come back. Okay, so that's all sorted out now. I did have something of a disaster. I did use too much of the solder paste. Which I suspected when I was putting it on, and I think I mentioned that. In the process of trying to fix it up and remove some of the excess solder paste, I left my rework station air gun. So this is the hot air for my rework, and it was running at 227 degrees or thereabouts. And while I was working over in this area, I moved the hot air out of the way of where I was working to make sure I had it right, and I left it a bit too long, and so I ended up burning the board pretty badly. And I think I damaged the chip as well. It's taken a chunk out of the corner, and you can see on here there's way too much solder on. So I prepped another board and reworked or worked it instead. Used less solder this time, and then I still had too much solder on, so I had to clean it up with a little bit of solder wick. So this is this copper braided stuff combined with the flux, works quite well. Use a soldering iron to clean that up and get rid of the excess solder. When I was testing afterwards, I was finding shorts between the 3.3 volt and I think I had it on the SCL line, and then I found some on the SDA. Some of those were up in around here, again too much solder, shorting pads to the, in this case it was the SDA to the 3.3 volt line, and I had some shorts down over here as well, doing something similar. So I've been through and I've tested those with the multimeter and they're all fine now. So the next trick with this will be to install all of the headers. So I've got this one, plugs into here from the back. and that's for the or plug onto the Raspberry Pi. I do have the headers here. So this one here, 2-layer by 4, spare 2-layer by 4. This one will go into here, along with this one. That's the header that connects to the daughter board. I've got this one, which is not the best cut in the world. That's for here. And this 2-layer for here. Now, when going through all of my stocks of these types of headers, I haven't got any right angle ones for here, and it does have to be a right angle one, because once this is on top, you can't access from the top and it'll prevent this board plugging on. So I'll have to get those in. I can't install those at the moment because I haven't got them. So I might try and get those between now and the next video, see how I go. And install all of those connectors with the next video. I just found a component that I had go missing when I was doing it the other day. It's sitting right here. Those little surface mount capacitors. Very hard to see. So I'll call it the end of the video for this video, and I'll come back when I get these headers so I can put those together. At that point, we'll assemble this board on top, put in the standoffs, and plug it onto our Raspberry Pi. So if you like these videos, don't forget to click on like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. It's a form of support that helps the channel a great deal and costs you absolutely nothing. It also allows YouTube to let you know when my next video is out, so you can go and watch it. If you'd like to support the channel further, I do have a Patreon account, and you can join my patrons: VIP Go Lucky, All Access patron Jeff Jerd, my Builder patrons Alan Morales 45, Andrew Cardone, Airgar69, and Stefan Papist in helping to support the channel. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave a question in the comments below, or drop into my Discord. There'll be a link in the description, and you can ask your question there. If I can't answer it, someone else might be able to. And we'll see you in the next video.